The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
I'm Carlos, and I have no sound from you. The speaker inside here? So I will turn it on when you do the opening. CJ, I just got somebody told me that your mic is not on.
Oh, there we are. I'm sorry about that. It was that was the problem. It was something simple. It was something simple. No wonder nobody could hear me. I'm sorry, people. Let's redo this. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm CJ. I forgot to turn my mic on, the idiot.
Some people are happy.
Yeah, some people are happy. I didn't say a word. Once again, in my weekend flush, if you had read it, I spoke about the Zoning Board of Appeal and the Planning Board meeting. The Planning Board meeting is on Tuesday, and they're going to be discussing the St. Vincent's Homeland. A couple of city councilors wanted to go to that meeting, but of course the Planning Board doesn't want citizens to speak because during a public hearing, if you exceed 3 minutes, they shut you off because they don't want to hear what you have to say. And it's kind of questionable at best. But as I wrote the weekend flush yesterday, and I actually started it very early, something broke on Facebook. And I had a severe issue with it, and I'm gonna show you all with it now and see what we can do. So this was a posting on Facebook from Jean St. Pierre, and Jean said, "Is this a surprise? No, it's not. A right-hand man and current landlord to the mayor puts his building up for sale for far more than its assessed value. After it was announced that Streetscapes would be renovating that complete block and possibly helping with the storefront of the building. Maybe it's nothing, maybe it's the way the game works." Now, here's the thing. The individual that we're speaking about here is David Hebert. And Mr. Hebert answered this allegation by Mr. St. Pierre. And he said, "Hey, Gene, I generally get a chuckle out of your usual nonsensical beep," can't say the word, "based on zero facts. But if you're going to include me in your ongoing baseless beep, then step up and be accountable. Nothing you've said here is true now, in the past, or in my future plans. You know nothing and know far less about me. My building is not for sale. In fact, I am investing heavily into it, which is something you couldn't even comprehend. Stick to your drug business. You're out of your depth here. And Chris Anteo, do I know you? Do you have info on my property I'm not aware of? I'm curious if your employer will find your baseless accusations funny, seeing you claim to represent a lender I'm very familiar with. Let be clearer. Your accusation is slander and defamation. Got an issue, call me. I'll get you straight." Well, here's the other one. Guess what? That's the listing for 200 Bank Street. And as of yesterday, it was been on the market for 556 days. Now, Mr. Hebert filed with CPA for approximately $345,000. He did not disclose to CPA that the building was up for sale. This listing was extended on April 6th, 2017, and the agent who's responsible for it is Gilbert Oliveira. They also extended it on September 21st of 2016. So then we go here. Jen Andrews says the MLS listing is active. If it's not for sale, why is it still listed? Plus, I believe the owner said it was never for sale. Well, here's the thing. What's going on? Mr. Hebert replies, FYI, I let my friend Kurt Oliveira, the broker, which I could find no license for a Kurt Oliveira, the broker, use it as a comp and to fill ad space he had bought in a magazine. So in order to advertise it, it needed to be on MLS. That was a few years ago. Forgot all about it. I'm also a broker, so if I wanted to sell it, I'd do it. Hope that clears things up for those curious minds. By the way, if anyone wants to offer me the $800,000, I'll certainly listen. Jen isn't going to like a logical explanation. Would rather call people post first. Is on the MLS website. Well, blah blah blah. Okay, here's the thing. In Massachusetts, you cannot list a property that is not for sale. You can't do it. Okay? It's governed under Mass General Law 93 and Mass 93A. Under 93A, which is the Consumer Protection Act, okay, that's called unfair and deceptive business practice. And I'm quite sure that the people who read this went ballistic and probably started filing complaints with the Board of Registration and Real Estate. Because Mr. Hebert admitted that the property is not for sale and that he listed it, which is a violation. He could lose his license for that. And so could Mr. Oliveira. Not Kurt, but Gilbert, because he listed it. So you have to wonder. And again, this is part of the mayor's administration. Are you serious? This administration has had nothing but lies, misinformation, misdirection, and this is what's happening again. Can we honestly deal with this?
So the issue in here is, and that's what all this came about, was because of the streetscapes.
Right.
The value of the property gonna increase.
Across.
And that's why, that's what's being advertised to make the streetscapes from the mayor's mouth. When we improve sidewalks and streets, the values of the properties go high, and investors will be looking to buy property.
Right.
That's what the mayor is putting on the plate, pretty much. That's why I came against the streetscapes, because going down that road, I was there 10 years ago, and my properties on Pleasant Street, then the values then went up. The abandoned properties still there for sale. So guess what? The streetscapes then did it. What the mayor is justifying spending $20 million. That's the problem I have. Maybe it works in other communities. Didn't work for me back on the day, and still I still don't agree with it. That's why it was this article. But guess what? Somebody's so defensive of the mayor that's going to end up getting themselves in trouble just to, be on the mayor's side. It's worth it? No, it's not worth it. I'm sorry, because the most that the mayor could be, it's another term. It's worth it to waste your life and your licenses because of a mayor that's going to serve 2 terms the most? I don't think it is.
Well, it's interesting because the mayor was on local media, local radio today, and listen closely, voters, listen closely. So the mayor has said we're going to raise property taxes, the water bill, the sewer bill. But he's going to see if he can get rid of the bags for 2019. For 2019, hey, this is 2017, people. So where's the plan? Oh, we never show the plan. You'll see the plan, but we don't show it.
Just give me a vote on 2017, and you will see the plan in 2020.
Right, exactly. You know, this is getting to be absolutely ridiculous. But he wants to raise, he's going to raise taxes and he's going to raise fees because people don't understand this. People don't understand. He said, well, we have commitments that we have to meet. We have the CSO project, which is costing us a lot of money, but we bonded for that already. Okay, we bonded for that. So that payment is fixed. And every new bond we take fixes the payment. Here's the thing that you, Mr. Mayor, and the voters don't understand. When they bond, regardless of whatever increase you may think that the 9C monies are going to give us, whatever money you think the state may provide us is first going to be used to pay for those bonds. And that's why we don't have money. And then the city council says, well, we need to get more money from the state. We got to go to our state delegation and have them give us more money. No, you got to stop spending money. You got to stop spending money. Carlos, is that how you run your house? Do you go out and take your credit cards and rack them all up to $10,000 a piece?
And it's not just that. Everybody says it's good to have credit cards, but guess what? There have to be a limit.
Right.
Because if you have too many credit cards, now you're not helping your credit.
That's right.
So people's going to say that you have more credit cards to pay and you cannot afford a mortgage. And it's another thing that people a lot of people do a mistake. They got approved for a mortgage. And before the closing, they go and they spend $20,000 in furniture.
Yep, of course.
Okay? So it's a perfect example and happens all the time. I talk to brokers, this happens all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I was so happy that I got approved for my house. I'm having a closing next month. I'm going to go out and I'm going to spend $20,000. And guess what? When come and they pull up the last time for your credit before the closing day, okay? You have too much debt.
That's right.
You cannot be approved anymore.
That's right. And you know, it just gets ridiculous. Now, I got to talk a little bit about Mark Dion's column. I love Mark. He goes, James LaCorrea won't have to think anymore. Hey, does he think now? He just has to talk. Because guess what, people? We're going to have a weather forecast, which I made on Sunday. Our political radar shows that there is a storm front heading for Fall River, and it's going to be centered right around Government Center at about 9 a.m. tomorrow morning when the election nomination papers become available. So we know that the political line of crap is going to be coming out top notch and at the top of the list. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It's crazy the way this is working for Fall River. They thought they were getting the best deal with this guy. They thought they were getting the best deal. And again, this is how the Fall River voter voted. They were reactionary. They didn't arm up or gather because of Will Flanagan's crazy way of handling the budget, crazy way of handling the departments, and his inability to manage it financially. They got riled up and they rose up against him because of purple bags. Now, Sam Sutter instituted a $10 a month fee. They rised up over the fee. Now, this mayor turns around and he privatizes trash and says by doing that, he can get rid of the $10 fee. Everyone's happy. Yay, look at this. We don't have a $10 fee anymore. But one way or another, you're paying for it, people. And even if he does get rid of these bags in 2019, let's look at the fact that they have never met projections. And I don't even think they're enforcing it anymore. I see white bags, black bags, paper bags, you name it, I see them, and I don't see a purple bag. And when I do see a purple bag, it's rare.
The thing is, people already lost jobs over this lie numbers.
Right.
That keep coming up. And, I think we only have one person there that needs to be fired so we can find out the truly numbers of these purple bags. And, the numbers still don't match. We change mayors, we change people at serving this the trash, and the number's still not matched. Nobody can figure out what is the right number.
That's and try getting accounting information out of government centers like pulling teeth. It really is.
And another thing is, we probably as a campaign promise this year, we're probably going to stop the purple bags, and the numbers still not going to match, because even with the bags gone, it's not going to match, because guess what? How much we're going to raise in water and sewer and tax and all of that to make up for those numbers? We still don't know.
Right, and the mayor keeps saying it's $3 million, $3 million, $3 million. It's never met $3 million. It's never produced $3 million. It was just like when he said he was that the settlement with the DCM workers who were dismissed because they privatized was coming out of the enterprise fund. The enterprise fund didn't exist anymore. It was free cash. You dissolved it on June 30th. So it became free cash. So the money came out of the city budget. And whether the John B's want to believe it or not, that was just misrepresentation.
And you know something, CJ, and the majority of the taxpayers of this city understands that we have the service, we need to pay for it. But the only thing we want is to know what we're paying for and how much we're paying for. So I think this all comes down to a true number. My friends, costs so much money, and here's the number, and that's how we're getting the money. But every time that the administration comes down with the number, never matches. And then when the city council asks a different question or a different way to get the number, now, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have the information with me. I will get back to you. I definitely will get back to you with that information. And then we didn't hear that information anymore. And guess what? Then it's a bad city council. He's against this administration. They're just trying to get the information so we can know, what the numbers are. That's the only thing. So I cannot blame them for those that, and it's always two sides of the coin. And I'm very happy that we have city councils there that look always for those numbers, that have tough questions. That's why they got elected. That's why they're going to get elected again, because they're doing the job for the citizens of the city.
Hey, and they're doing their job. Okay, as I've said before, the City Council is equivalent to the Ways and Means Committee in the U.S. House, the U.S. Senate, the Massachusetts House, and the Massachusetts Senate. They decide where the money goes and if we have it. And the mayor can approve it or disapprove it. But
and kudos goes to those 5 city councils, because guess what? They already proved to me that they go by the case, not by the mayor. Because guess what? If it's not them, you will not have $20 million to spend in streetscapes.
Yeah.
Guess what? I didn't like the way they voted, but they voted.
That's right.
Okay? So don't tell me they vote every time they voted against the mayor.
Right. And I'm going to get into that in a second on something else, but before we go, because we're still talking about high taxes, okay? The Herald News wrote an editorial piece, the CPA worth stabilizing through higher fees. Well, isn't that nice? Like, we don't pay enough in taxes already. And, the CPA may work in a lot of other communities, and the Herald News talks about the wonderful things that we've done in Fall River. Guess what? I've seen more abuse of the CPA, as have members of the CPA, the CPC. They also have seen some abuses. Mm-hmm. And right now, the city's trying to use the CPA money to do maintenance issues that they've never managed before. Mm-hmm. So how can you do that? How can you do that? When organizations come forward asking for $100,000 to get rid of asbestos, and they say, no, we can't do that for you, okay? Or they're coming forward and they're asking for park benches for a park, but they can do that. If it's for the city, they'll do it. But everyone else, they're not going to touch it. So it makes for an interesting...
my opinion on CPA. I got very, very disappointed when we applied the first year for funds for the school. and they give me a very very small excuse that our process was a very small process. We were very beginning process of,
Right.
Which I understand, but then seeing private buildings getting funds, that's the part I was not happy, and that's why I filed the complaint, and you know that we filed the complaint back then because we didn't get approved. But the only thing that I think that board is serving this community, it's not the money, is the restriction they're putting on these historic buildings. That's the only part that I really like it about this this program, and which I'm being in contact with them because I want to put that restriction. I don't even care if they give me $1. Just give me $1 and put this restriction on the building. That's what I'm looking for.
Works for me. Now, again, as I said earlier in the show, the ZBA is meeting today, I believe, or Wednesday. I can't remember. I'm sorry about that. And they're looking at issues. You know, the ZBA, the Zoning Board of Appeals, is the only organization, the only commission that is legally authorized to authorize you, the taxpayer, to violate city ordinances. And the problem is that they do this without looking at the city master plan or anything, and they destroy the fabric of Fall River. They always do. Now, the planning board is meeting on Tuesday. They're going to be addressing the old St. Vincent's homeland. Now, that land hasn't even been closed upon yet. It's under a P&S agreement, and the neighbors were never notified. They again weren't notified. I spoke with one of them yesterday. They went out knocking on doors, and people are livid. Not that the planning board cares, because Mr. Paquette made it very clear already to everybody, you're going to get 3 minutes and you're not getting a second more. So it makes for a lovely day. It's going to be a lovely week with politics. But
And starting tomorrow, it's going to get
oh yeah,
even
I already
better.
said it. That's the storm is coming in. Now the other major issue I took over the weekend, somebody asked a question. Is Fall River Celebrates America coming back this summer?
No.
And no, no,
Yes,
never, no, it's gone,
No.
it's over with. Stop asking, stop holding your breath, it's done. And then, I guess one of the zombies came out, and I read it, said, oh no, the city council killed it. The city council didn't kill anything. The mayor asked for $20,000 to put together or plan an event over the summer. But again, he had no plans going forward. He was asking for money, but nobody knew for what. You can't do that. They did what was right. Had he come forward and had a plan and said, this is how it's happening, maybe they would have done it. But it is not the city's responsibility to entertain you. It is not the city's responsibility to give you something to do. That's your job.
CJ, the end of the day, $20,000 for those that are not inside of events like I do. $20,000 pay you for 2 bands to come and march on the parade.
Well, you know,
That's it. That's the only thing you get with $20,000.
But here's the bigger thing, okay? The Fall River Celebrates America netted about $25,000 every year, with thousands and thousands and thousands of hours put in to plan it and make it happen. And everyone in Fall River complained. They went to $5. They had to adjust the price. $5, $3, no matter what the rate was, they wanted it for free. Now, the Great Feast of the Holy Ghost, which I'm no supporter of, they raise or spend $190,000 a year. I have their tax returns, okay? Just in police overtime, it costs the city $22,000. Just in police overtime. We're not talking about anything else. And this is a religious organization. City money shall not pay to support a religion. Okay? They say, oh, it's economic development. Why? The only restaurant right next to there is closed during that feast because it's such a hassle. Okay?
They don't want to open.
No, they don't want to open. And the thing is, they give the city nothing, and they get 190. and they say, oh, we only made 20,000. Yeah, because you spent all that money. So think about this. If they're dishing out, if they're taking in 190, but they're only making 20,000 on it, and it costs them 190, you think $20,000 is going to give you anything?
Well, here's the thing. Now, I'm not even going to talk about the past. I'm going to talk about this year. This year, when they come for their license, I want to see them last year's expenses and all of that. Because if I had to provide that information, what I have no problem providing, I'm using a city park. So, you know, if I have to, everybody else is going to have to comply.
Hey, you know, this is the
and
issue.
I will be there to request that. And I already called the park board, and I already asked them. I want to know when the license is going to be on the agenda. I want to be there because I want to see if you're going to ask the same thing that you asked me.
No, why would they do that?
We will see how this is going to play.
This is the problem we have. Now, the Great Feast of the Holy Ghost, for years, I've been going to the city council, various city councils, various administrations, and I've said, how come city tax dollars are being used to support a religion? Oh, no, it's the event. No, it's not. Just like Fall River Celebrates America, they had increased crime. Both of them, Fall River Celebrates America and the Great Feast of the Holy Ghost, had the death of an officer in the line of duty. We're still paying for those, okay? Emotionally, psychologically, and financially, we're still paying for those. Mm-hmm. It ties up our police. It requires rerouting of EMS services and emergency services, fire trucks, busing, all of that, all has to be rerouted for this event.
And near of a hospital.
And it's right next to the hospital.
Oh my God. You know, I want to see another organization try to shut down South Main Street near the hospital.
I know.
I want to see if that happens.
I know. And the thing is that, you know, I'm not against anyone having a feast. I'm just against city tax dollars paying for it. And this has been going on for 30 years. The city has dished out, just in police overtime, over 30 years, over $1 million. Over $1 million. What can the city do with $1 million? I can think of a couple of things. Okay? So again, the people want everything for free. Even the carnival that was at Lafayette Park this past week. People were complaining that they had to pay so much. It was too expensive. Well, guess what? Again, entertainment costs. Did you go to a movie last week? I'll bet you spent $60 for two of you to go to the movies.
And it's not there. It's not just that. People don't have to pay to get in.
Right.
Which, Fall River Celebrates America, you need to get paid to get inside the park.
Exactly.
Which is, I know, I'm pretty sure it's illegal.
Well, that's another
story.
That's another question.
For another day.
Yeah, that's another question we don't need to ask.
Thank you, CJ, for texting me that you were alone and you need a backup. So I run here as fast as I could.
I told Chip that, as a matter of fact, Chip just contacted us. The terrorist ran late. I'm getting to the top of President Avenue. By the time I park and walk into the studio, it'll be over. Sorry, I will go nuts on Wednesday.
But
I told him he wasn't going to make it.
It's always good to come back here.
But you know, the thing is that, you know, we're going to complain about tax dollars. Let's make sure that we complain about them properly and we get our money's worth everywhere. Hey, we'll see you on Wednesday. We'll have a lot to talk about. Stay angry and call your city council and tell them, why is that money being spent to support the church? Have a great week.
Thank you.
See you Wednesday.